everyone, so today I'm going to be doing my June wrap-up and my July TBR. So for the month of June, I didn't really read very many books this month. I read about 2 books, so it's been my worst reading month of the entire year, but I'm still about like 8 books ahead of schedule, so it's not that bad. I think I've read about 31 or 32 books this year. So I'm not really hurting for trying to get to 8 books every single month. But I was a little disappointed that I didn't read more books this month. I just feel like I've had so many really good reading months this year that I just needed a break. And that I just needed to take time with these books. So I really enjoyed both of the books that I read. I had a great reading month in terms of ratings. I rated both of the books that I read 5 stars. I absolutely love them. I'm super obsessed. So let's get right on into talking about these 2 really awesome books. So the first book that I read and finished in the month of June was A Study in Charlotte by Brittany Cavallaro, and I absolutely love this book so freaking much. It is just one of my new favorite books. I actually made this my favorite book of 2018 so far. I love it so much. I have nothing but good things to say about this book. So it's kind of funny, I tried to read this book last year and I got about I think a few pages in, and I wasn't really expecting it. For some reason I wasn't expecting it to be told from the point of view of Jamie Watson. So I don't usually read the synopsis of books that I read. I just kind of look at the title, I know maybe a few little bullet points about the book, and then I start reading it. I don't really go into books knowing what the synopsis is. And I didn't read the synopsis for this book before I read it, so that's kind of on me. That's really not on anyone else. But I usually don't read books that are in the point of view of a boy, so I wasn't really expecting it, and then I was like, ooh, I don't know if I'm going to read this, I don't know if I'm going to like it. So I put it down, didn't pick it back up until I think a few months ago. I started reading it again, I'm like, ooh, this is actually kind of good, and then I put it down again for some reason. That's all leading up until I read it this month, and I absolutely loved it so freaking much. This book is about Jamie Watson, and he is a descendant of James Watson, or Dr. Watson, from Sherlock Holmes, and he meets Charlotte Holmes, who is a descendant of Sherlock Holmes. And they meet at this private school in the US, and they kind of become sort of unlikely, tentative friends after they've been framed for murder. And I just freaking loved this book from start to finish. It was so good. I love Jamie so much, and I just feel like I can relate to him so much. I feel like we're kind of similar people in a way, and I really appreciate how human both Jamie and Charlotte are. They both have their own issues. They're not perfect. They're not always happy. It's just, I love just the depth of these characters, and it's so amazing to read that, because I feel like a lot of times in books, characters are kind of either just two-dimensional, or they become unlikable characters because they're not perfect. But I feel like both of Jamie and Charlotte, the reason that I like them so much is because they're unlikable, and because they're real, and because they're human, and because they don't do and say perfect things all the time. So I really enjoy that about this book. I think it's fantastic. I could probably talk about this book for an entire video all by itself in a review, but I just love this. I kind of want to do a series review once the last book comes out and I've read everything, so look for that in the future at some point. But yeah, I absolutely love this book. It probably doesn't come as any surprise, but the second book that I read this month was The Last of August by Brittany Cavallaro. Not surprising, we actually kind of match right now. Look at, I could do a little photo shoot with this book, as I totally match it. I also gave this book 5 out of 5 stars, and I absolutely loved it. I was just I can't even explain the thoughts and feelings I had when I was reading this book. I was so entrenched in it, and I loved the setting, I loved the new characters, I loved getting to see them in London and see them in Europe, and just, I loved it so much. And I loved getting to see Jamie actually do his own sort of things in pertaining to the case that they were trying to solve. I loved getting to see Jamie go out and do his own thing without Charlotte, and I thought that was so interesting. And I also love how Charlotte kind of just it was The entire plot, and I know this is like something that a lot of people don't like about this book, but I love that the plot was so confusing. And that's probably so weird to say, but I really did like how confusing this plot was. I liked that it wasn't ever really clear, it wasn't exactly wrapped up completely, there was a lot of loose ends and things that weren't answered, and I think that that's so real for me. I don't know why, it just seems like that's just how it would be in real life, like, and I love that. I love the realism in this book. And I love, like, just all of the little plots in this book are just so interesting, and they didn't all need to be wrapped up for me. I didn't need that in this book. I wasn't asking for that from this book, and I don't feel like that was the purpose of this book. I keep saying this book, I'm so sorry. I'm like, I don't know why. But I could literally talk about these books for hours. Like, I could have so many videos about these books. I honestly did not expect to enjoy these books as much as I did, and not even because of the male main character or anything like that. I just didn't expect that I would like be this hyped about this series, and I'm really glad that I am. So I constantly am, like, whenever I talk about these books on my channel, I always thank Rocky, because she is the one that like pushed me to read these books. Like, she didn't like actually like personally push me to read them, but she was the one that was recommending them the most out of like anyone. And I just like saw her enjoying these books, and I just needed to read them because I love getting recommendations, and I ended up really loving these two books, and I'm just like mind blown honestly. I am just, please read these books, these are amazing. Alright, so because I spent so much time talking about those books, we're going to have to kind of speed through the July TBR a little bit. So this is kind of a weird TBR because I've already read one of the books, and then I'm like about 30 pages into the next book. So we're just gonna kind of go through it, we're gonna wing it, and we're gonna see what happens. So the first book that I read in July, Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. Super amazing. I decided on the movie cover version, and I've definitely not taken very good care of this book, but it's okay. It's fine being creased. My brother is so annoyed that I have not taken good care of this book, and I feel so bad, but I'm just like, I would put it in my purse and it would just roll around in there. I absolutely love this book, but I'm going to save the rest of my thoughts for my July wrap-up, so we're going to talk about this more in about 30 days. So the book I'm currently reading is The Case for Jamie by Brittany Cavallaro, and I'm really excited to get farther into this book. I'm about, I want to say 30 pages in. Yeah, I'm about 30 pages in. This one is really exciting because there are dual perspectives with Jamie and Charlotte, and that really hasn't happened like a lot in the past two books. It did happen a little bit in the second one, but I feel like this is going to be like the entire book is in dual perspectives. So that is really interesting, and that's really exciting because I love Charlotte's perspective, and I'm just like, I'm so ready to get back into this world. It's so good, it's so good, and I just have a feeling that this book is going to rip my heart out, honestly. I already almost started crying in like the first 30 pages, so I'm really excited, and I know I'm going to love this book. So I'm going to be gone for 3 days, from the 3rd to the 5th. So I'm going to be bringing a book with me while I'm gone, and that book is going to be Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. I swear, I am going to finish this book this month. I can't even talk. I am going to finish this book this month if it kills me. Honestly, I am so annoyed that I haven't finished this book yet. Like, I can't even explain it to you. I can't explain it to you. I've been so annoyed that I haven't finished it. It's just like, it's bothering me every time I look at it. I'm just like, I'm filled with guilt over not reading this book. So, it's going to happen. I have to read it. Yeah, you all know what it's about. And because I've been kind of burned out over fantasy, I'm going to try to read Children of Blood and Bone, but I'm kind of burned out on fantasy, and I've been super into contemporary lately. So, the last book on my July TBR is going to be Final Draft by Riley Redgate, because it is so short, and because it is so gorgeous, and I've heard so many good things about this book. I'm so ready. I have a very loose understanding of what this book is about. As I've said before, I don't really read synopses of books, so I'm pretty sure this is about a girl, and she is in this, I'm pretty sure she's in a creative writing class, and I'm pretty sure that the teacher gets swapped out for a new teacher, and this teacher doesn't like her as much as the old teacher does. So I think it's kind of like a fangirl-ish kind of book, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm really excited to read this. I've been so into contemporary lately. That's all I've been wanting to read. It's all I've been wanting to buy. So I'm super excited, and if you watched my last video, you'll know how gorgeous this book is. It's really beautiful if I can get it open. Look at that. Oh my gosh. It is absolutely gorgeous, and I'm so excited to read it. Alright, so that was my June wrap-up and my July TBR. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And if you guys read any good books in June, then let me know down below in the comments, and let me know also what books that you're planning to read in July, because I'm super, super interested. And I'll see you all in my next video.